Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So I would like to give a quick shout out to Colleen Patterson and Noi B. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. You guys were the first to comment on my last video, and I just want to say thank you so much for all of your support. So just a quick, I'm so sorry if I sound nasally. My allergies are on a milli today, guys. Like, it's crazy. But today we're going to be doing a story time sent in from one of my subscribers. I'm trying out, excuse me, so foul subscribers, one of my besties. I don't know what just got into me. So I tried out the stiletto tip nails dual forms from To Be Glam, if you guys saw that unboxing video. And you guys let me know what you think. Stiletto's not really my style, but if you're a stiletto type of girl, those dual forms might be handy for you. So today's story time is a funny one. It's a juicy one. And this is about the time one of our besties got played by her sugar daddy. Alright, so let's get right into this story. So I was in college at the time and I wanted a sugar daddy because I was tired of eating ramen noodles every night. Period. And I feel you for that. I really do. So I met this guy from this site and everything was peaches and cream in the beginning. He took me on the most extravagant dates. Every time he pulled up, he had a brand new car. One time he pulled up in a Porsche. Another time he pulled up in a Corvette. I felt like I hit the jackpot. So for one of our dates, we got into what he does from work. And he told me that he owns a whole bunch of different franchises. He owned about 40 stores, and each store pulled in over $4,000 on average every single day. So if you do the math, he was well over a millionaire. Wow, crazy. Of course, I'm not the type to believe everything I hear, so I did my investigations, and it was very much true that he did own all these different stores and that he was a franchise owner. We had a major age difference. At the time, I was 20 and he was 55. So, of course, when we went out, it looked awkward, but I didn't give a F. I didn't give a F because I was about to get paid, or so I thought. So we started getting to the point where it was about to get intimate. And on one of our dates, we met up at this really nice hotel that had a really nice restaurant in it and talked. And he told me that he wanted to be with me, but I had to delete my profile on the account where I met him at. So they met online and he basically told her that he wanted her to delete her account and everything so that they could be exclusive. It was just him and her. I was through the roof. I was so excited because that's all I wanted from the beginning too. So I agreed, and we agreed to this arrangement, and we went upstairs after dinner. We made love all night, and for a 55-year-old man, that bleep was bomb. Oh my gosh, this is hilarious. So I told him that I was looking into buying an apartment because I wanted to move out and I was tired of staying on campus. And he told me not to worry about it and that he would give me 6 months of rent in advance to find an apartment, security deposit and all, and he would pay for the whole thing. My jaw dropped to the floor immediately. I was like, oh my gosh, I hit the jackpot. So after our first night together, he wrote me out 2 checks. The first check he wrote me out was for my personal allowance. We agreed that he would pay me $6,000 every single month, and he also agreed to pay for my apartment. So the first check he gave me was half of my allowance just because he wanted to make sure that I wouldn't leave him. Fair, very understandable. So he wrote me out a check for $3,000, and then he left me another blank check that he told me I could write the amount of the apartment and whatever security deposit, all that was for my apartment. When I left, it was around 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was just on cloud 9. Like, I finally did it. I found the one. The next morning, I went to the bank to deposit the check, and I also went to go tour some apartments for that week. I found an apartment that I was really interested in, and he still was agreeing to pay for the apartment for me. Now here's where it gets juicy. We met the next day and had an amazing night again, and at this point it was probably about 12 o'clock in the morning. On my way home, I checked my bank account and the check had bounced. I was like, what? Oh my gosh. So the $3,000 check that he gave me had bounced, and on top of that, I got hit with a fee. And on top of all of this, they also froze both of my accounts. What? That's insane. So I was leaving the hotel, and I immediately busted a U-turn to go back to the hotel to ask him what was up with this bounce check he gave me. As I was in the parking lot, I looked up his name again, and I can't believe that I had missed this when I did my due diligence before, but there was actually a police report for him that he had warrants out for larceny. Now, larceny I think is some type of theft. I'm not sure. I'm really not sure, but I think that's what larceny is. I was like, oh my gosh, this guy is a scammer. He just scammed me. He's a fraud. Everything he said is a lie. I'm devastated. I barge into the hotel room, slap him to wake him up, and I ask him why my check bounced. He's like so confused. What? What's going on? What are you talking about? I said, 1, why did you have a warrant out for your arrest for larceny? And 2, why did the check bounce? He wakes up and rubs his eyes and tells me the story of the article I seen online. He said he had been trying to get it off Google for the longest time now, but basically one of his general managers at one of the franchises that he owns had needed a rental car, and they took the rental car all the way down to a completely different state and never gave it back. But the rental car was in his name because he had rented it out for his general manager so he could get to and from work. I'm thinking, okay, valid. I can see it. But what about the check? He went to his checkbook and looked at his check and said that he accidentally wrote it on the wrong checkbook. When he pulled it out, he did have multiple checkbooks, and they did have different numbers. So I figured he wasn't lying like a dummy. He said that he would go to the bank immediately the next day and just give me cash and give it to me tomorrow when we meet again. I was okay at this point. So after that, I told him goodnight and I went home. The next day, we met up, we went out to dinner, and we met back at the hotel again. And everything was peaches and cream. I was, of course, waiting for my allowance, but immediately after we finished doing what it did, he fell asleep. So I didn't want to be rude, so I just went home, and I figured I would see him the next day, and that time he wouldn't forget. So now we're on the 4th time we met. And this is the final hurrah. Now, get into what happens next. We meet again after a long day of work, go out for dinner, and meet back at a hotel. I asked him what's up with the apartment because I found an apartment that I love, and I told him the price of it, and he said everything was fine. Now, he offered for me to stay in one of his condos instead that was in a nice, luxurious area and told me his tenants had been moving out. Red flag immediately when he said that. I figured he was backing out of the whole apartment deal, and I had already put in a $500 security deposit that he told me he would pay back. I did not have enough money to get this apartment, but I believe what he said when he promised me that he would pay for it. So after we finish and we have a wonderful night, I ask him about the cash, and he says that I can either stay or I can come back in the morning, and he would go to the bank and give me the cash like he's been promising the last 2 times. So I told him I would just come back in the morning, and he told me to not be late. He told me to be there by 8 a.m. because he had to go make his rounds to his different stores. I told him no problem, I'll be here like a dummy, really thinking that he was actually going to be there at 8 a.m. So the next morning, I wake up, I'm ready, and I text him, and my number is blocked. No. No way. I really can't say long story short because I just told a long story, but basically, he lied, he blocked me, and I never heard from him again. I never got my money, and luckily, my application got declined for the apartment, so I ended up getting my $500 back. I never heard from him again, and I still do have one of his checks that has his address on it. I thought about going there a few times with my best friend and causing a scene, but I figured I'd just let it go and repent my sins to God because I should have never put myself in that situation anyway. Anyway, I told this story to say that greed gets you nowhere, ladies, and to get your own. Never depend on a man for anything. That's such a crazy story, y'all. Like, wow. But, wow. Anyway, that's such a crazy story. I'm so sorry that happened to you, but that's very true. Don't ever depend on a man for anything, y'all. Never. But anyway, today is Monday, and if you guys have purchased one of my body butters, then that should have shipped out for you today. If you guys enjoyed this story time, please don't forget to leave me a like, comment, and subscribe. Like I said, this nail shape is new for me. I don't really do stiletto, but let me know how you guys feel about it. I honestly just love my coffin, but I did purchase another set of dual forms that's a straight coffin shape, and I'm so excited to try them, and that should be probably in next week's video. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sorry if I sounded nasally. My allergies are really beating me up today, but today is Monday, so that means that I will see you guys on Thursday. All right, bye.